Hey, what's up, guys? Minty here, back again with another podcast episode, the Minty Mobile Games Podcast, episode 7. Thank you for returning. Thank you for all the love on previous podcast episodes. We have a very loyal but small following on these podcast episodes, and I appreciate you guys commenting and liking and sharing your thoughts about what I discussed in this episode. And this episode is no different, so please let me know what you guys think about anything that I talk about on this episode. And you are only stuck with me on this episode. There's no guest here, but that is my fault. Your friend Jacob was going to be on this episode of the podcast, but he was only free last week and I was not. So hopefully we can get that together in the future, but that podcast episode, when we do record it, is going to be an absolute banger. I love your friend Jacob. He's a great guy. Love his thoughts, and we have some really fun subjects to touch on. So look forward to that in the future. Again, thank you for your guys' support. Now let's get right into it. Now, first up, I have the Diablo Immortal debacle to talk about. Now, Diablo Immortal, you guys saw that I made a first impressions video, and if you didn't, you can go check that out. It was literally my raw first impressions. I had never seen any gameplay of it. I kept myself in the dark so that my first impressions were your first impressions. And it honestly went really well. It felt a lot like Diablo 3. Nothing really came out at me, and obviously that was after like 15 minutes of gameplay, but it felt exactly like Diablo 3, except on mobile, with really well done touch controls, full controller support. So I was honestly pretty impressed, but obviously it's a free installment of the franchise, and I know that they made it free for a reason, to implement some greedy and manipulative monetization practices. And it has recently come out through some rough math done by, I don't remember, I wish I could credit them off of my memory, but just know that these calculations are not my own, that it takes over $100,000. Let me repeat, 6 figures, $100,000 to max out your Diablo character, max gear, max everything. Or, also done rough math, not by me, 10 years, an entire decade of your life by being a free-to-play player. Now, that's pretty insane, and it really goes to put into perspective that when you're spending money on these greedy free-to-play games, it may feel like you're making progress, but at the end of the day, you're not. And you're honestly just fast-forwarding that 10-year time span that you otherwise would, and you still have multiple years unless you're dropping 6 figures. And what's sad about this debacle, now I've been in the mobile gaming space for a while. Lucy's trying to get up on my lap, so if you hear jingle jangle and random dog breathing in the mic, you know what is happening. But can't ignore the daughter. Now, what really bothers me in the mobile gaming space is that there's this stereotype that with free-to-play mobile games that are greedy, it's mostly people who just have a ton of expendable income, spending money and blowing massive amounts of money on these mobile games. And that's just simply not true. A lot of these whales or dolphins, so to speak, can't afford it. There's so many different stories told on Reddit and through documentaries on YouTube and interviews that there's a lot of people who spend money they don't have and their income does not match blowing all of that money on mobile games. So it's very, very, Lucy, don't lick the mic. But that's very disheartening to see Blizzard, a company that everyone's notoriously trusted and basically bought every game they've come out with just from the sole purpose that it is Blizzard, and seeing them fall from grace. But I saw it coming from a mile away with the Activision purchasing Blizzard. I absolutely despise Activision. I think Activision is worse than EA now. Now, that doesn't go against the actual gameplay of Diablo Immortal. I think if you play it as a single player experience and you don't put a dime into it, there are many, many fun hours to be had in this game, along with multiplayer and crossplay with your PC. If you want to just sit down, play with your buddies on PC, and then grind out some dungeons when you're on mobile, it does offer a very fun experience, and there's a lot of fun to be had. And I think that's what makes it even worse, is that there's a great game underneath this awful monetization model. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents on this issue. Please do not support Diablo Immortal with your money at all, no matter how tempting it is, because they're throwing a lot of psychological practices at you with the monetization, and that is very disappointing indeed. And as a psychology, I have a bachelor's in psychology, so I'm not a complete pro yet, but it's just fascinating to see all of the manipulative things that really play into the biological processes of how your brain works. It's just nuts. So be careful out there, especially when playing games that have those monetization problems, because if you have some gambling issues or addictive tendencies, maybe it's just best to avoid the game altogether. But my 2 cents, the game is actually really good. It's probably one of the best looter like action RPGs on mobile to date. However, on a brighter note, let me open up I always forget the name of this game and how to pronounce it. Almora Darkosen. ALMORA DARKOSEN. Remember the name of this game. Now, this just came out around the same time as Diablo Immortal, and it has been made by one singular developer, and he has spent 9 years crafting this game. 9 entire years, and it truly shows this game has so much heart, and it really scratches the Diablo itch, and it basically does Diablo better than Diablo because it only has an in-app purchase to remove ads, and that's it. No free-to-play model whatsoever. So if you do not want to just even touch Diablo Immortal, please go support that game. I've been absolutely blown away by it, and you can just tell the time, the care, the effort poured into making that game. So again, go check it out. It's Almora Darkosen, or Darkosen. I'm sorry if I'm butchering how to pronounce that, but I have been enjoying that game immensely. It's a fantastic little RPG in the vein of Diablo, in my opinion. So go check that out. Now, as another update for Apex Legends Mobile, I'm sorry if you guys aren't playing that and it's annoying to listen, but the game came out. I've really enjoyed my time with it initially, but after a week or so, the game's problems really started rearing their ugly heads. First of which being there's a lot of glitches. It almost seems more unstable than the playtest, according to everyone else and all of the content creators that were in the playtests, which is really unfortunate. And my number one issue with it is that there are so many bots in pubs as well as ranked. You can't even escape having bots in your matches in ranked, which makes no sense to me. And it makes matches just play out extremely slow and extremely boring and extremely unrewarding. Because when bots are in the game, it's obvious and it's just easy to kill them. There's just no skill involved whatsoever. And it makes your accomplishments just feel fake and not as rewarding as they would be if it was real players. Now, I'm okay with bots and pubs because that's kind of the casual mode, and okay, so be it. But in ranked, it makes no sense, especially in the high elos, and that's eventually what turned me off of the game, and I have not played it since I got sick of bots being in my matches. Also, on top of that, the developers have not communicated any future updates at all since release. And they're kind of ignoring all of the content creators. The entire community is just saying, hey, give us something, any sort of roadmap, maybe patch notes for the next update. Just communicate with us so that we feel like we're being heard and that we feel like something is going to happen in the future. And it has been radio silence, which is absolutely insane. Very shocking to see. And I honestly feel bad for all of the content creators that play only first-person shooters on mobile because they were really looking at Apex Legends Mobile as their saving grace. It's kind of had a void since Fortnite Mobile went under. COD Mobile definitely came in and saved them for a while, but now COD Mobile has gotten stale after 3 or so years, and they were really looking at this as the savior of first-person mobile games and first-person shooter mobile games. And I knew that it was going to be overhyped. I knew people were banking on it too much, and I knew it wasn't going to be as smooth as everyone thought. And it turns out I was actually right for once. So that's quite unfortunate. But again, on a brighter note, T3 Arena has just continually impressed me beyond belief. T3 Arena, I've made a first impressions video of that as well as I posted a video about one of the characters and created a little bit of content around the game because I'm enjoying it that much, and I've been streaming it. And we'll get into the streaming aspect later in this podcast. But T3 Arena is a hero shooter. Now, hold up. I know hero shooters have come and gone, but this is kind of in the vein of Overwatch, but with more action-based combat. Each character has an ability or a tactical ability, a passive, and an ultimate. And it's a 3v3 mode game, so it feels way more action-packed. You don't have to have as much teamwork, but teamwork definitely plays a part. There's tanks, there's assault characters, there's support characters, there's kind of a mixture, snipers, and it's really, really fun. This is one of the most polished looking and sounding games I have seen in, honestly, like a couple years. Like, it is one of the best looking mobile games I have ever seen. It feels like a console game, and I think if it released on other platforms with controller support and stuff like that, I feel like it could honestly hold its own in a way, in a lot of different instances. And I've had a ton of fun with it. There's different game modes. There's control. There's team deathmatch. There's free-for-all. There's a payload mode. There's all kinds of different modes in the game, and they constantly are rotating in and out. There's constant events. There's ways that you can earn characters. The only downside is that it is technically pay to win, but it is very generous towards free-to-play players. And honestly, I have hopped in matches with characters that I have not leveled up at all, and I feel like I'm hanging just as much, and there's no bots. It starts you out with bots right at the start, but the more you play, the less and less bots enter your lobbies until you're only with human players, which is really fun. I highly suggest this if you're disappointed by Apex Legends Mobile like I have been. Definitely check it out, T3 Arena. Don't be surprised if I cover it more on the channel because I have been streaming it. Now, like I said, we'd cover streaming later in the podcast. Now we're here. So I have set up my PC. It's not the most souped up PC ever, but it gets the job done. And I feel like the quality is definitely average. It's like 7 out of 10 quality with the stream itself. And I am streaming exclusively mobile games from now on. I am not going to be, maybe I'll stream some Apex Legends on console since I have a lot of following on Twitch that watch me for that. But every Monday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Twitch, I will be streaming mobile games only because there's been so many good releases, and I just am excited to play them all on stream and experience them with you guys. So please comment down below if you have any suggestions on what you want to see in stream. Please click on that link in the description of this video and go follow the Twitch link, and you'll know when I go live and we can experience mobile games together. I've primarily been playing T3 Arena and Catalyst Black. I've been enjoying Catalyst Black a lot more than I thought I would. If you didn't know, that's the game by the makers of Vainglory, and it's kind of like a over-the-top action-based battleground shooter is what they call it, and it's really fun, really satisfying to play. But I've been playing that too, and I plan on throwing a lot of single-player experiences into the mix so that we can enjoy them together. So if you enjoy mobile gaming content on this YouTube channel, just know that I would love to interact with you guys in real time as we're experiencing mobile games together. That would be a blast, so please go check that out. And that's the only time I will plug it in this podcast. Now, other than that, that was the main things on my docket. There's a couple more games that I'm enjoying on the side, but I will be releasing a review for one of them. It has a ton of heart. I'm very excited to share it with you guys, and it's just exciting. I feel like we've had some amazing mobile releases recently, and they just keep coming. So we've survived the drought, and we've gotten this huge blast of great mobile games to enjoy for now, and it has just been amazing. But I appreciate your guys' support. Please follow me on any of the platforms on the socials. Please message me anytime over any of my socials. I'm the most responsive to Twitter DMs, so feel free to shoot me any DM if you need help, if you need someone to talk to, if you want to pick my brain about a mobile game, or if you want to share a mobile game that you want me to cover on this channel. I'm always open to that. You can ask Silent Rocco. He shoots me suggestions all the time, and I'm always open to it, and I really appreciate it, because you guys matter. The reason I create content and continue to create content is for you guys. So I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best supporters ever. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys are staying safe, and take it easy.